Welcome to the top 10 most pulled comic books for March 12th, 2025. I'm Mike Spiderslayer. Welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. If you love daily comic book content, you like me helping you make decisions on what comic books to buy, and you find this channel very informative, guys, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Now, this video series is powered by LeagueOfComicGeeks.com. That's right. This site provides you with all the comic books that are coming out for each comic book week, and you can create your own pull list absolutely for free. So these numbers are not sales numbers. These are comic books that people are excited about. People are putting these comic books on their pull list, and it's a lot of fun to do each week to see which book comes out on top. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So just like every week, we always have 5 books that are on the outside looking in. And the first book we're talking about, which I feel is very underrated, and this is Aquaman. This is issue 3. After 2 issues of this, it's been a solid read. This book is 32 pages for the price of $4. When it comes to the pull numbers on this one, pretty solid for the 5th book that's on the outside looking in, 3,365. It is written by Jeremy Adams, so give this a try, especially if you like other Jeremy Adams work. And the art is done by John Timms, which is also pretty solid. And we just got Aquaman going on this adventure because Atlantis has been destroyed. He's found this like crazy pearl that wound up being this gateway to this other place. And we've got introduced to this like blue, which is also connected to the green and the red, and there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in this comic, and we're only 2 issues in, going into 3. So I don't know, man. It's not too late to jump on this book, and I think you'll actually like it. And this is coming from a guy that doesn't really like Aquaman. Our second book that's on the outside looking in goes to The Phoenix. This is issue 9. 32 pages for the price of $4. This one is written by Stephanie Phillips, and the art is done by Alessandro Marcullo. This book does have 3,721 pulls. I don't know too much about this series right now. I've only read the first 2 issues, and I wasn't a huge fan. I just know Thanos was in this book. We have Jean Grey dealing with this enemy from the very beginning that's called Percarus or something like that. But if you're enjoying this book, that's pretty cool, but I don't have too much advice to give you when it comes to the Phoenix book. But if you like it, let me know in the comments below. Our third book that's on the outside looking in is a criminally low on this countdown, man. It's sad to see that. It's Geiger. This is issue 12. It's a $4 comic book. This has 3,984 pulls. It's written by one of the best writers out there, in my opinion, Jeff Johns, and the art is done by one of the better artists out there as well, Gary Frank. This is a solid read about a poor guy who has lost his family to an atomic bomb, and then he has the radioactive powers, right? And he's trying to find a cure. His family is dead. He has to he's out on his own, and he comes across this makeshift family, and the adventure that he's gone on since issue 1 has been outstanding. And it's not just this book where this guy is just angry and he just kills people. He's developed a family, and it's just so heartfelt. This is a phenomenal book. It needs to have more people reading it. It's so well done. So if you haven't checked out Geiger, guys, check it out. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed by it. Our fourth book that's on the outside looking in goes to X Factor. This is issue 8. It's 32 pages for the price of $4. The legacy numbering on this book is 300. This is an X-Man Hunt tie-in book. Remember, this is crossing over with all the other X titles. This book does have 4,126 pulls. The writer here is Mark Russell, and the art is done by Bob Quinn. The overall X Factor series is pretty good. How it will tie into X-Man Hunt, we'll see. But if you haven't read it yet, it's Charles Xavier who's escaped from the Grand Malcolm prison. He's suffering from a brain tumor. He's going to die. He's trying to find a way to get to his daughter because his daughter could be executed. Every book so far seems quite different from what's kind of going on with Professor Xavier and the mission at hand. I wish the same person would actually write this event and do just a 1 through 6 instead of crossing over with all titles. Just my opinion when it comes to this X-Manhunt. They tried to make it like Executioner, and it just doesn't work in my eyes. And our final book that's on the outside looking in goes to Batman Dark Patterns. This is issue 4. 32 pages for the price of $5. This book has 4,206 pulls. It's written by Dan Waters, and the art is done by Hayden Sherman. Now, when it comes to this book, it looks like this is a new story arc labeled Case 2, where a strange new tower has appeared in Gotham City. A lot of you guys messaged me and told me, Mike, this is a pretty good series. You probably should read it. You're probably right, and at the end of the day, I'm probably like, well, am I too late on jumping on this? And then I'm also like, duh, do I need another Batman title to read in my pile? So if you're reading it, that's absolutely awesome. If you're thinking it's a must buy for me, also still let me know in the comments below. Here's when things get quite interesting. We're kicking off officially now the top 10 most pulled comics for March 12th. Right? And I'm surprised this is in the top 10 because I dropped it, but I am going to pick it back up again. And this is Iron Man. This is issue 6, legacy numbering 676, 32 pages for $4. This book has 4,337 pulls. It's not breaking any barriers or high-end numbers here, but it is connected to the One World Under Doom, and that's why I'm checking it out again. It's written by Spencer Ackerman, and the art is done by Julius Ota. And listen, I was a big fan of this, and once again, I've been reading all the One World Under Doom stuff. Some of it's been good, some of it's been bad, but nevertheless, I want to check it out, and I want to see Iron Man's involvement in this series. If it's good, maybe I'll continue it. If not, I'll just drop it again. Number 9 winds up going to Deadpool. This is issue 12. Legacy numbering 347, 32 pages for the price of $4. This book does have 4,534 pulls. This one is written by Cody Ziegler, and the art is done by Andrea DeVito. This continues the storyline with Deadpool versus Spider-Man, or I should say Deadpool and his daughter versus Spider-Man, based off of a certain situation that happened in the Deadpool comic book, and it's been crossing over between both books, which is totally fine. Cody Ziegler writes both of them. So that's when I feel it's okay to do a crossover with multiple books when you have the same writer doing it. When you have multiple writers doing an event in multiple books, they all have their own voice and their own opinion and still trying to tell their own stories, and it's kind of a little bit all over the place. But with Deadpool and Miles Morales Spider-Man, you know what? This makes for a really fun story. Number 8 goes to Spawn, issue 362. 24 pages, still for the price of $3. This book has 4,739 pulls. We can't get out of the 4,000s. Writer Todd McFarlane. The art is done by Brett Booth, which is always absolutely phenomenal artwork. And in this book, we finally get to see Spawn, who gets his powers back once again, which I'm really excited about. He can heal, he can do all his magic, he can do all this crap that he can do, right? But not only though does he get his powers, but all of his enemies wind up getting his powers back. And they've been scheming and planning this entire time. And now we're going to get to see who's going to go after Al Simmons here. Looking forward to this issue. Spawn is always a really fun read. Really happy to see this book in the top 10. And number 7 goes to Void Rivals issue 17. This book is 32 pages for the price of $4. It's connected to that Energon universe. So if you've been enjoying all of that, you're going to like this book. This book has a lot of original characters and lore connected to the Energon universe. This book has 5,475 pulls. And the art here is done by Lorenzo Di Felici. It's a great book. It's got different cast of characters in here. Your main characters, Derek and Solilla. Most recently, the newest Autobot in here is Hot Rod. And, you know, you get Springer, who's been in here for a little while. But again, the big thing is you're learning about these race of characters on how they're connected to the Transformers and Cybertron and all that other stuff. And it's so amazing. And I absolutely love this series. Right outside the top 5, coming in at number 6, we have Batman and Robin. This is issue 19. 32 pages for the price of $5. This book does have 6,069 pulls, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. The art is done by Javier Fernandez. We have Jason Todd to the rescue here. Damian is having his doubts with Bruce and with Gotham. Are they doing more harm than good? And does Jason have that heart-to-heart with Damian? And is he going to persuade Damian to be the good guy? Is he going to persuade him to be, to leave his father? I don't know. We'll see. The series is pretty good. I'm not fully understanding everything that's going on right now, but I do like the relationship aspect between Bruce and Damian in here, and I like how Jason Todd has inserted himself into this series too. So, looking forward to this issue. Top 5, here we go. Getting closer to number 1, we have Action Comics issue 1084. You Can't Handle the Truth. That's what it's titled. 32 pages for the price of $5. This book has 8,790 pulls, written by John Ridley, and the art is done by Inka Miranda. When it comes to this book, I don't read it. However, it looks like Superman is on the verge of discovering who's been luring reformed villains back to the life of crime. Who is that person? I don't know. Will I read it? Probably not. I read my share of Superman, and I like the main title the best right now. But if you're reading Action Comics, let me know in the comments below. As always, what do you think of the title? So close to coming in the top 3. But number 4 winds up going to Transformers issue 18. It's the Autobots versus Decepticons versus... Do we know? If you read the last issue, maybe you might know. I don't know, but I have my assumption who it could be, right? Series is absolutely awesome. This book has 8,978 pulls, written by Daniel Warren Johnson. Jorge Corona does the art. Not too much longer is Daniel Warren Johnson going to be on this title. We got to find out soon who will be on the title eventually, right? But until then, enjoy this epic battle between all of these Autobots and Decepticons and being introduced to the brand new Autobot that Cliffjumper created. It's got a huge cast of characters, and this book has been phenomenal from the very start. Coming in at number 3, winds up going to X-Men issue 13. This is part 4 of that X-Men manhunt, coming off of part 3, which was Storm, and that was actually the best part. Does Jed McKay's X-Men Hunt Part 4 deliver? I guess we're going to have to wait and see. The legacy numbering for this book is 313. It's 32 pages for the price of $5. This book does have 9,537 pulls. Like I said, it's written by Jed McKay and Nitho Diaz. And in this book, we're going to see our X-Men try to capture Charles Xavier. And we're going to see, what happens with Xavier in this one. Do they catch him? Do they not catch him? Does he, escape? Who knows? We'll see what Jed McKay comes up with for this part. Coming in at number 2... we have the Amazing Spider-Man issue 69. That's right, guys. Legacy numbering 963, 32 pages for the price of $5. Will this goddamn storyline please end? Well, we're getting close. This is the penultimate issue. Issue 70 wraps up the run, and then we're going to get a new run of Amazing Spider-Man. But until then, we have to finish this off. This book does have 11,584 pulls, written by Joe Kelly. Ed McGuinness is the penciler for this issue. Spider-Man's used up his last life, so what's going to happen here? How are they going to bring back Spider-Man? I don't know. You're just going to have to read it and find out. Let's hope the ending of this sad storyline, turns out positive. So remember, guys, after number 1, we are not done, as we're going to discuss Mike Spider Slayer's sleeper pick, because there's definitely a lot more comics outside this top 15, and I'm going to showcase to you a book that you might be interested in, and it could be your sleeper pick also. But the number 1 most pulled comic book for March 12th, 2025 winds up going to Absolute Superman issue 5, the first time ever that I think a Superman book has beat a Batman and an Amazing Spider-Man title. That's awesome. And this book is 32 pages for the price of $5. You guys are really excited about this one, and it has 15,594 pulls. I think what makes this book important is that we get to see the heartbreaking tale of the final fate of Krypton here. So that's it. This is going to be the last stand of Clark's parents, and they're going to find out, you know, everything that happens with Krypton. Usually you've seen this in the movie or you've seen it briefly in the comic book, but here we've kind of learned quite the extent of what Krypton is and how it operates, and I really found that interesting. And now we're going to see maybe the loss of his parents, which could be absolutely heartbreaking. So we'll see what happens. The creators of this book is Jason Aaron, and the art is done by Raval Sandoval, who has done an absolute bang-up job. Tell me if you guys are enjoying Absolute Superman. And now it's time for Mike Spider Slayer's sleeper pick of the week, and that goes to Nick Fury versus Fin Fang Foom, issue 1. This ranks number 36, and this has 40 pages for the price of $5. This book only has 909 pulls. It is written by J. Michael Straczynski, and the art is done by Elena Casagrande, and the cover art is done by Gary Frank, who does the art for Geiger. So really cool cover art on here as well. I wouldn't put this on my sleeper pick normally, probably, but since I read the Dr. Doom and Rocket team up and the Captain America and Volstagg team up, those books were pretty good. So I think this one could be really good as well, and I can see people totally overlooking this. I said that in the Volstagg and Captain America book as well, as there's so many other great books out there, and that book was actually very well written. So I'm letting you guys know that this one is out there. It'll be cool to see Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos take on Fin Fang Foom. And there you have it, webheads. There are the most pulled comic books for March 12th, 2025. What books are you looking forward to that's coming out tomorrow? And as always, guys, I'm going to leave you more content right here for you to click on. In fact, this is one of my most recent videos where I talk about variant covers. Are they good or are they bad for the industry? Or does it matter to you and you just want to leave some feedback, right? So as always, guys, remember, support the local comic shops. Keep buying, keep collecting, but always read your comics so we can have great comic conversation. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow on New Comic Book Day.